everyone, Ivy Lee Gaming here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. For today's video, I'm going to continue and finish off my How to Build series. For this video, we're talking about healers.
The finest blood for the most untainted soul.
Alright, so 4 or 5 days ago or so, I started this little series. My first video was how to build DPS units. That includes fighters, marksmen, and mages. That I also just released finally because I've been a slacker for the sake of this series because we had other stuff to post about. I posted my how to build defenders, and now it's time for how to build healers, which is great timing with Laia, the legendary lord from the Ancient event. Also, you know, kind of, yeah, being part of the conversation, I would say, right? And this is an interesting group of heroes because healers are not as cut and dry. Like defenders is pretty simple at the end of the day, with only a couple exceptions to the rule. Same thing with all DPS units, honestly. Most of the DPS units are pretty simple. It's like attack, crit damage, crit rate, good, okay, done. Attack speed sometimes, most of the time. And then it's just a matter of which set to put on them. But healers, they scale differently, right? And there's some people that are labeled as healers that are not really healers, like our friend Dolores we'll talk about. So I kind of want to go through some of the different healers, and we're going to talk about what you're aiming for when it comes to stats. We're going to talk, oh, sorry, my computer's being silly. Let me, yeah, but we're going to talk about stats. We're going to talk about, I don't know, a little bit of everything, honestly. We're going to talk about who are the exceptions to the rules, who needs attack speed, who doesn't, if we want rage regen or not. Are we attack based? Are we HP based? Are we defense based? There's some interesting stuff here. So yeah, let's get right into it. Overall, when it comes to building a healer, there's different scaling, and the way you can tell how your healer scales is here. It's going to say attack based healing, HP based healing. Or if it just says heal and nothing else, you can click the green. If it's highlighted green, you can click it and it pops up and it shows you. Like Vortex restores max HP based on the target and the caster's max HP. So with Vortex, you want to go all HP on him. Simple enough, right? Not too hard to figure out overall. He's just a really good, solid healer. And he honestly, I don't know, he's gonna be someone I use, I feel like, forever, and I still am using him now, even late game stuff, because of his range. His range is so good. But I love HP-based healers like him, and also Medan, because they are easier to keep alive, right? Like, attack-based healers, when you throw them into Gear Raid 2, when you get all the smashes, they die. It's hard to keep them alive, with obviously exceptions to accept the really good ones, like an Eloin. Or Hollow's a great healer as well. That's attack-based, who's not even wearing gear. Poor Hollow. Attack-based healing again here for Hollow. But if you gotta add a little survivability to her too if you're doing something like Gear Raid 2, where she's not gonna hang in the late stages. So this is where you really want the HP-based healers. Now I did mention defense-based healing, but that's not really a healer thing, I should say. There is one person that comes to mind here, Mariel. She is a defense-based scaling unit. She does defense-based healing with, with her ultimate here. And I believe it's her Awakening 5. Yeah, adds extra HP restoration, healing allies. So she's a really, really cool hero as well. But, she's not classed as a healer, so we're not really going to talk about her, but I just want to give her an honorable mention because at the end of the day, she does do defense-based healing. So if you're looking at your gear and you're trying to figure out how to gear her, oh, poor Mariel has no gear either because I've not been using her, you can save a couple good quality pieces of gear that is defense-based because there are healers that are defense-based, or defenders in this case. So I just wanted to call that out because it is, yeah, it's important. So we also have other attack-based healers that add a little bit more utility, like Nisande. She heals all right, and she also adds like an attack speed increase on all allies, an attack speed buff. So that's why people use her. You're going to use Hollow as like this restoring rage. She's kind of the budget version of an Elowen. Really, really good Elowen. I put every skill max because she deserves it. And Elowen's a great healer as well. She dispels debuffs from all allies too. Not that there's a lot to dispel in this game right now, but I'm sure there will be more over time. But again, attack-based healing for her. And we also have our friend Dolores, or we actually have a couple others. Sadie and Dolores to talk about. Sadie is really about this damage mitigation, less about the actual healing itself, right? I mean, she does have HP-based healing, which is great, but it's really all about her ultimate. During her ultimate, when it takes effect, she does a massive damage mitigation, which is so cool. They only take 40% of incoming damage. So she's kind of got this really unique role where you really could use her strongly in Gear Raid 2. When the boss does the sandstorm or the earthquakes, earthshake, whatever the hell it is. Too many games, so many things. It's all blending together sometimes. She's great to pop her ultimate as the boss is about to pound and kill everybody. And she's also a quirky use for guild boss. If you can't take out the boss's shield before the spit happens, you could pop her ultimate and survive the spit. And that's a really clever use of a healer. We also have some other strong healers like Ezrein that is a single target healer to keep in mind. He is attack-based for healing too, which is kind of a bummer. I hate when everyone's like attack-based, but he has kind of this really cool... He's like the Idril of healers. He does like the whole board. He can heal anywhere on the board. It's just really, really cool. Beyond his attack range. That's so fun. I love that. And he's someone I've definitely underestimated for healers. But let's talk about the actual gear here. I have, as he has random gear just on. Oh, it's because I was having gear space issues a while ago. I thought that if you put gear on people, it would not count for your gear space, but of course this game does not do that like Raid. It actually counts it. All right, let me go to Dolores because she's going to be a quirky one to talk about. So let's talk about the sets with healers, what you're going to put on people, right? Let's talk about that now. All right, so healers. Unshaken Will, HP plus 20% after being attacked, recovers HP. That's okay. This is another one of these. These are the kind of Unshaken Will, Morale I've mentioned. Those are sets we get, I believe, from Void Rift, but I'm questioning that right now. But I don't have any, so there you go. But there's like when on the field, all allies deal bonus damage. So this could add a buff to someone who doesn't bring much utility. This can just give a self-heal to someone who's taking a lot of damage. So those are okay. But really, your end game goal for a gear set for a healer is going to be Invigoration. Healing effect plus 25. And when deployed, the hero and one random ally in range gain 10% attack. So we should probably talk about healing effect briefly. I didn't really go into this first like I normally do. When it comes to your stats, it's pretty simple. If a healer is attack-based, you put attack percentage main stats on them. You do not focus healing effect as the main stat. My poor gear is so bad. Oh my god, don't look at it, guys. Don't judge it. But you do want to look for attack speed in your substats as well. And yeah, like, so attack bonus with attack speed, and except for Dolores, unfortunately, which is really sad because she can't benefit from it. But for other healers, you want to focus attack speed as well as the multiplier for their healing. And then you want to get up to like 100 healing effect, but you don't really need to go crazy with healing effect because it kind of has diminishing returns after that point. So whatever their multiplier is, attack-based healing, HP-based healing, focus that for your main stats, and then look for some attack speed and healing effect. Simple as that. And some heroes, you can definitely try to grab some rage regen as well, but don't go too crazy. I think something like 40% is plenty. But I will just mention here, again, exceptions to the rules. Dolores is not affected by attack speed. So don't worry about putting attack speed on your Dolores. I accidentally got some along the way, but I wasn't really trying to. My gear, I was just putting Invigoration on her, which is kind of sad because none of this set is very good. When I look at this, I'm sad because my better gear is on my Elowen. But yeah, Elowen's got the better stuff. She's got the healing effect because Dolores doesn't really heal well. That's another thing to talk about too is Dolores is not really a healer. She says she's a healer, but she does a tiny bit of healing. Dolores is all about her inspiration. And so she's more of a booster, not a healer. Also like our rare healer, Autumn. Autumn is a crit rate, crit damage, whatever booster, but she only does a little bit of healing, and so that's not really what she's about. But there are some very strong healers in the game, like Elowen here, who is all about attack. So attack, bonus with flat attack speed, and then like healing effect and rage regen would probably be the perfect piece of gear for an attack-based healer, except someone that cannot use attack speed. That's the example. And same thing here. So this Warlord set that's attack and attack speed, that's going to be great for all of your attack-based healers if you can get better rolls than I can. But of course, for me, it's hard. So far, I feel like my Warlord gear is so good for my damage dealers that I'm kind of letting my... You could see how bad. I'm letting my gear on my healers really slack. And this is supposed to be the end game sets, but it's not very good. But all right, let's go back into the sets as we continue talking about them. But overall, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory for the rest of the healers, I think. Like, yeah, here. This set here, again, it's HP, adds max HP and healing effect. HP-based healer, add some healing effect. Simple enough. Other than that, Glacier is really good for someone like Dolores that just needs attack and nothing else. So that's the fun part with Dolores. Dolores, you're just looking for attack bonus and flat attack, and that's kind of it. So something like Glacier is pretty good for the mid to end game goals because you can also look for HP, because what else are you going to do with those extra substats that aren't really going to benefit her? You might as well help keep her alive. But also HP gets converted into attack. Gains an attack bonus equal to 6% of max HP when deployed. So if you look for Glacier pieces that have attack main stats with HP substats, that's going to be really good for a Dolores. So that is one of those weird ones that seems like it's with all the damage pieces, but actually can really help her, especially if you haven't started getting those invigoration sets yet. Mana Spring is okay for healers too. I mean, coming back to your ultimate, better is great. So this is another one you could probably try to keep some pieces of, though I don't think it's the best. You know, I really don't think it is like the best option overall. But hey, it's better than nothing. Also, I guess the other thing could be, for the sake of your healers, they need to stay alive. Right? So a Guardian set with good stats based on your multiplier, plus some healing effect in the substats or attack speed is going to be pretty good as well. So save those pieces of Guardian that sound like they could be for a healer, because you want your healer to survive so they can heal everybody else, especially if they're squishy. If they're an attack-based healer, you might have trouble keeping them alive in some content. So putting them in a Guardian set might be the answer, which is actually, I feel like I just did that recently with someone else. Maybe it was Nisande for something. Might have been Nisande. I feel like I threw random pieces on Nisande when I was doing was it a faction trial? I don't even know. But I remember specifically putting that on a healer. Or maybe it was just actually my Lightlock. To be fair, it was my Lightlock because he was dying and I was trying to push him, and that was the faction trial, Lightlock. I remember that now. But I am so guilty, I'm sure you guys are too, of being so focused on my gear for my damage dealers that I haven't really rolled up a lot of my other stuff. Oh god, no wonder why I haven't rolled up a lot of my other stuff for my support units. But try to be better than me, guys. Don't neglect your support units and get stuck with crappy gear on them. I mean, I've luckily been getting some better rolls slowly but surely. But my God, there's only so much gold in the game, right? There's only so much gold, but that kind of covers it here. Early on, obviously, I mean, there's not much great stuff here with 3-piece sets. And when it comes to the 2-piece sets, I don't think we really need to talk about that either. That's kind of self-explanatory for the 2-piece sets. Immortal Warrior, HP and defense. If they're HP-based healer, you can give them Immortal Warrior. If they're an attack-based healer, you can give them Warlord, because it also has the attack speed. Salvation is also, if you're not doing the stage 19s, Salvation is our healing set. Oops, let me get over here. That actually gives healing effect. Simple enough. Life Force gives HP. Calamity gives attack. Whirlwind gives attack speed. I mean, I tend not to talk too much about the 2-piece sets in these videos because they are what they are. It's just a stat boost. So if you're looking for attack for your attack-based healer, you put an attack set if you can. But overall, stats over sets at the end of the day is going to be your friend. Now, let's just take another quick look at our healers here. So I feel like that kind of covers the gist of most of them. Like I said, there's a variety. We have Vortex and Medan that are HP-based. We've got Eileen that is just a healing little machine, but all she does is heal. She doesn't do anything else. Well, she does give a little bit of damage mitigation for herself, but that's about it. We have more utility out of people like our legendary Lord here. She's really cool. And why can't I click her skills? So she's another attack-based healer with rage regen. Really great for guild boss, just like Elowen here. Attack-based damage dealer that has dispelling of debuffs and rage regen for your allies. You're kind of looking for most of these healers to give you a little bit more than just heal when you get into the end game. We've got Sadie, who's our damage mitigation queen. We've got Dolores as our attack booster queen. The Sunday boosts your attack speed. Hollow boosts your rage regen. If she's your budget, if you don't have Laia or Elowen, then Hollow is going to be your friend. If you're trying to push content and you need more damage, you need boosters, Dolores and Autumn are going to be your friend. Again, she's like crit rate, crit damage, boosting, and she is attack based on healing, but she's more about her buffs than she is about the healing herself. So I guess the other one I haven't really talked about because I never use him myself is Lightlock, but a lot of people really do use Lightlock very heavily, and he actually can do some decent damage. He's one of those weird ones who people do build for damage because, yeah, deals damage equal to other attack. So he can actually be built like a damage dealer, but they did kind of nerf him a while ago. So he's not as good of a damage dealer as he used to be, but he still can help. He still can definitely help with a little bit of AoE damage, which is great. It's something else, especially if you're lacking AoE mages for a team. You can certainly use him, plus he's going to heal along the way. It's still a viable option for some early stages of content, just late game that is going to fall off, but he can definitely hang as a healer still. You're just probably not going to see a lot of Lightlocks in stage 19, 20s, and 21s of content. And like the other videos, I do want to pull up our friend MaBucket's tier list, just as another reference tool if you guys are struggling with your build ideas and you want to kind of check and see a quick blurb about what someone says about these heroes. You can always sort by, class, healer, see what MaBucket has to say. He has little blurbs about them, plus suggestions for builds, including sets and artifacts. I didn't really go into the artifacts for this one. I feel like you can kind of see here. Okay, so like this orb one's really cool, which I'll show you guys briefly. When we go back in the book, I use a lot. I always forget the names of them. I'm so terrible. Dolores is just really, really, really good in ancestral teachings, so I probably should show you that actually. But if you want to look better at his builds for these characters, you actually just click the main icon, go to class here, go to healer, and then you can see everything here. So like, let's go to Laia, if we get lucky and pull her. As I keep clicking people with suggested builds that don't show. Go figure. Elowen, suggested build, late game. There's a good description here of what to do for late game, end game, mid game, early game, you know, including some recommendations for which sets to put on, which is what we talked about. Invigoration, the healing sets, damage mitigation, or Glacier. And then, yeah, the Orb of Euphoria, the book Prayer Scroll. I always forget the name of that one. I have used that a little bit on people as well. Gift of Hope is okay, but yeah, I don't think I would really try to use that if we didn't have to. But let me just quickly shout out here, like we were talking about Dolores. When it comes to Dolores, Ancestral Teachings level 25 just gives her a ton of attack. Simple enough. It just gives her a ton of attack. So I do have a level 25 easily upgradable epic artifact on Dolores. And I do have the Orb of Euphoria on Elwyn. That's a really good one. I have a bunch of the books, but I haven't started crunching them for higher levels. You also can use like the Spirit Horn for initial rage to quickly be able to go to their ultimate right away when they get into battle. That can really be fun for Dolores early on. But I would even replace this with Ancestral Teachings. It can be huge. This could be something fun for a Laurel if you're doing a cheese, but that's not a... Oh, wait, no, you can't use that on Laurel. She's not a healer. I take that back. Yeah, I don't know. I know that Jungle Relic is kind of suggested for Eileen, but I feel like it's still one of the weaker ones because an increase of healing effect by 30 is not that big of a deal, and it's really easy to get like 100 healing effect just in substats, so meh, it is what it is. But really, you're going to probably be using, yeah, these three mythic pieces here, if you can, and then Ancestral Teachings for someone like Dolores that just wants as much attack as possible. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful, guys, discussing our healers. Let me know if you have questions or comments below. Check out my other videos, and I'll see you in the next one.